So yeah, welcome to my movie cave. Hi everyone.
Wow.
It's my little mini museum in my basement.
This looks like a lifetime of...
Kind of a lifetime, yeah. Like some of the stuff goes back to when I would try to collect stuff as a teenager. Some of the stuff is more recent, when I started writing the books, and I'd get like the stills they were using before everything was digitized, and you had to get the actual copies of the photos, and then the book would be published and the publisher didn't need the photos anymore. So some of that is that kind of stuff. And
So you were almost born a classic movie buff.
I guess sort of destined to be one. It's funny, there are many things that are much older, but the first thing I ever got was when I was 3, the Mary Poppins spoon when the movie came
right.
out.
And that started you off.
That was my first item. But
And who knew that would be a classic when you were 3?
Well, I loved
Very
it.
prescient.
I liked it. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is much, much older, but and I try. I'm kind of done collecting. Sometimes I'll just replace something, put it away, give it a break. But
Well, you don't have another inch anyplace, I see.
well, it seems like that. It's been like that for a really long, long time, and then you'd be surprised how you can move something over and suddenly you have space. And so I guess I got to a point where, you know, at a certain age, if you're gonna keep stuff, either look at it, enjoy it, or get rid of it, sell it,
Right.
pass it on to somebody else. I just didn't want to have things in boxes anymore that I would forget I had. So, so yeah, it's constantly changing slightly. I always feel like it's kind of a manifestation of the inside of my head.
Wow, that's a lot you can fit up there in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm here today with our guest, John DiLeo, and he's more than just a movie buff. He's a film historian. As you can see in the intro here, a lot of the pictures from his classic movie cave that he has downstairs in his house. And he's the author of his 7th book now. It's called There Are No Small Parts, and it's a really great idea for a book. It's about actors, 100 different actors who had less than 10 minutes of screen time, but made a big impact in the film. And it's such a great idea for a book. How did you get the idea? How did you come up with the idea?
At some point, you know, looking for new ideas, you think of like, what about all those great little things that just go by real fast in a movie, but make such a strong impression, and we all remember them, even if we don't know the actor's name. Like that guy who did that thing was so good,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And more I thought about it, was like almost every good movie has somebody like that. So it shouldn't be hard to find 100 and span the decades. This book goes from 1935 to 2019, sort of spread out.
And how do you do research for something like that? Besides what you already know, is there any, is it Google or Film Archive?
I think really it was just me and the movie, you know, my relationship with watching it again, of course, overall impression since the last time I saw it, and then really focusing in on, in this case, sometimes one scene that's 2 minutes long, or 3 or 4 scenes that add up to about 10 minutes, but really zeroing in on this particular person and where this falls in the movie, in their careers, and the overall impact of, sometimes it's just something entertaining that goes by. Sometimes it changes the plot completely, and it's sort of fascinating how that can happen.
I was thinking it was going to be all people who had a small role before they were famous, but
Right.
some of these were people who you were surprised that they would take such a small part.
Yeah. So, like you said, there's several film debuts. I mean, I'll think of, off the top of my head, Robert Duvall in To Kill a Mockingbird. He's really only in the last few minutes.
Never knew he was in that.
He's
Must
Boo
have watched
Radley.
that 1,200 times.
He's Boo Radley because he doesn't look like Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder in Bonnie and Clyde. He's just a hostage for like 6.5 minutes or so in the middle of the movie. Thelma Ritter makes her film debut for 2 minutes in Miracle on 34th Street as a shopper and parlays that into 20 years of movies. But then, like you said, sometimes it's someone big making a cameo where everyone in the audience knows who the person is. So it could be like Marlene Dietrich in Touch of Evil, because her good buddy is the director, Orson Welles, and I'll play the bordello owner for 5 minutes and make a big impression. And the last one in the book is one of those, Al Pacino as Leonardo DiCaprio's agent in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he's got a few scenes. He's very entertaining. He's really smart and funny, and it's, again, everyone knows. Oh my God, there's Al Pacino, and it's like, God, he's always great to watch. So it's, like I said, it's a variety of ways. Some, as I mentioned, people won't necessarily recognize the name right off, unless they're really hardcore movie buffs. Like, I could tell you with It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Gower, the druggist, is in the book. Maybe you don't know his name is H.B. Warner. Or Belle Watling, the prostitute in Gone with the Wind. Maybe you didn't know her name was Ona Munson, but she's in the book. So it's sort of a way to shine a spotlight on people that, are often close to being forgotten.
It looks like a lot of work.
It looks
you
like,
almost get a hernia picking it up.
It's a heavy book, and it's got not only 100 pictures, one for each performance, but quite a few of them are in color, which is nice.
Yes.
So it's nice to have. Like I said, this is number 7. I've been doing this for 23 years, and it's nice to at last be a hardcover. Usually a trade paperback. It's nice to be a hardcover, and it's nice to have quite a few of the photos in color. There is a quote, a very positive blurb from Jane Alexander, who is one of the 100 people in the book.
What was her movie?
For her, I think it's 8.5 minutes in All the President's Men as the bookkeeper who's got a story to tell, Woodward and Bernstein. So she has an amazing scene with Dustin Hoffman, and then a briefer scene, but also very good with both Hoffman and Redford. And I got to know her. She was one of the people I interviewed at the Black Bear Film Festival. That was in 2018. And we struck up a friendship, and we would keep in touch. And I saw her in a play before COVID hit. And I wrote to her and I said, I'm doing this book and you're going to be in it. Could I send it to you? And maybe you could look at it early on. And if you like it, give us a quote. And she said, I'd love to read it. She's, gave us a great quote. And so that's really special. And there's the first one of the book is Elsa Lanchester as the Bride of Frankenstein. And that's another one that was I remember thinking, I want to start it with a big one. I could start this in the silent era. I'd like to start with something where people go, oh, I get it. And I mean, she's in it for actually 7 minutes and change because she plays Mary Shelley in the prologue. But as the bride, she's only in it for 4 minutes, the final 4 minutes. And to make such an impression, I mean, the image of her as the Bride of Frankenstein is one of the truly iconic images of the 20th century. And to think what she does lasts 4 minutes, I was going to say the voice, but it's not, it's the sounds, the look, the jerkiness. It's kind of amazing.
To be in this room is kind of exciting because you do feel like you're surrounded by the whole history of Hollywood. So I want to thank you again. And again, the book is There Are No Small Parts, available every place.
Every place. Thank you so much, Nick. And
thank you.
Come back here anytime.
Thanks very much.
All right.